Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. I welcome each one of you to the CEO Talk Chennai. This is an initiative by The Talk. My name is Anmol Garg, and I'm the co-founder of a sales training company called Sales 5X, and I will be the moderator for today's session. CEO Talk is a platform that helps sharing ideas and insights to transform organizations and to create a better and transparent forum for meaningful business relationships and partnerships. This event is brought to you by Tata Business Services. It's the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses. With services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud, IoT, security, and marketing solutions, Tata Business Services offers the largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. I would now like to welcome our panelists who've joined us today. After I call out the panelists' name, please give them a round of applause. I know this is a virtual meet, but let's keep the energy building up. I have with me Ms. Jayshree Balachandran. She's the co-founder and the director of Business School of Logistics and Shipping. Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Dr. Srimathy is making up for the lack of video with her energy. Thank you for that.
I don't want a sick baby to be seen on a video.
Now that she's put on the video, we have Dr. Srimati Kaisen. She's the founder CEO of Space Kidz India. Can we have a round of applause for her?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We have Mr. RBU Shyam Kumar, CEO of Satyam TV.
Woo!
We have Dr. Avinashi Ramani, co-founder Acrannolife Genomics Private Limited.
Thank you.
And we have Mr. S. Vijayasarathy, Director, Purple Ironing.
Pop, pop, pop.
I now invite Mr. Kalidas KS. He's the VP SME Operations South Region of Tata Teleservices to deliver the welcome address.
Yep. Thanks, Anmol. I'm very happy to be connected with all of you in this CXO forum. So, I would like to touch upon and just see what we have gone through last 6-8 months and what we have seen in the market and what changes we have seen across the globe and what is really happened in our economy and what really helped us to take this comeback. That's what I just try to touch. As we know, pandemic has come as a shock to the humankind and economy. And initially, it was expected to be a short haul. As the days pass through, realize it is to me, we have to live with this virus. It's become a new normal of living. Initial phase, entire economy was trying to find out to come back to know what ways to find out to come back to normal. And we have seen a lot of changes across industries, across even human behavior. We have seen a change. As the government imposed work from home and government imposed social distancing as a norm, one key change happened because in the work from home has become as a new way of living or new way of working. Work from home was there prior to the COVID also, but it used to be an eligibility or is a privilege for employees. But after COVID, it's become a new way of working. That's one key change. Social distancing has really brought in across the economy. Now, if you see the second thing, buying behavior has changed. If you see the numbers, what we see earlier, online buying used to be around 1.5% of the retail market. If you see the last 8 months, it is more to 3%. It's almost double. That's what the numbers talk across the globe. Indian online buying is really doubled in the last 6 months. And if you see if you want to see the numbers, if you last 2 months, whatever smartphone sale happened in India, 45% of our smartphone sale happened in online. That's the kind of power we are seeing in the online buying behavioral change in the market today. Pandemic has really accelerated this kind of buying behavior. That's what we see in the market. We have seen the education sector as there was no way to getting back the kids to schools, and the education segment is really changed, moved to online learning. because that is a very, very key changes we have seen in the market. And if you see the country, as a country, if you see last 5 years, we are really gone through a transformation in digital literacy. That's a one good story happened in India. Today, India is having 84 crores data users in India. That's a big number, and that's really grown up in last 3-4 years. On top, today India is the biggest smartphone user market. And today, and last 6 months, the average data consumption per person is moved from, it used to be around 4 GB per person, is moved to 11 GB per person. That's a kind of change we have seen in the last 6-8 months. And Indian government effort for a digital transformation or a digital economy really moved up after the pandemic. And we are able to get back our economy back to normal. And that's very, very key is that the technology adoption has really helped us to come back to normal in a faster way in the last 6-8 months. And so that's a very, very key takeaway. The technology adoption has really accelerated, and it has really helped the economy to come back to normal. If you see that technology collaboration tools was always there, digital collaboration tool, but usage was always a way, but that is really accelerated. We are forced to accelerate the usage. Like that, there are a lot of platform and technology really is accelerated in the market. And that's a very, very key for us. And India is, if you ask me, India is really able to get back to normal faster than India because our digital literacy push was always there in the last 4-5 years. And we have seen the numbers. If you see our digital currency usage also accelerated, it's almost shown a 40% growth. That's what RBI numbers are talking. And that's a good story. That means whatever government has put efforts to get the digital economies really helped us to current situation handle better. And so very, very key for us, technology has really accelerated to come back to normal. Technology has become very key for this part and parcel of the business. Is no more just an enabler. It's a part and parcel of the business planning today. And one trend we have seen as a technology adoption was very, very rampant over a period of overnight. There were a lot of threats we have seen in the market coming. That's one challenge we have seen. There are a lot of security threats used to be in the initial phase, and hence there were a lot of security platform adoption also we have seen in the market. So being TTBS, what we try to provide is that we try to connect, which is always within our backbone, and we provide on top digital platform, cloud platform, and collaboration tool for economic to enterprise to use. That's what we try to do in the last 6-8 months in this current situation. Over to Anmol to take it further.
Thank you, Kalidas, for setting the precedent for this discussion. Can we give him a round of applause?
Thank you.
When you said data consumption has gone up from 4 GB to 12 GB, I think that 8 extra GBs Netflix and a lot of other videos that we are consuming. All right, with that, I'm going to dive into a roundtable. The theme of today's discussion is rising to the challenge with the tech advantage. Rising to the challenge with the tech advantage. As I said, I'm joined by a very able panel. The format of this discussion is very simple. I have about 6 to 8 questions, and I would love to get every panelist's view on these questions. Our humble request to everyone is to keep your answers short and crisp. This makes sure that we hear out from everyone, and it will also help us wrap up on time. With that, let's dive into our first question, which is common to everyone, which is how has the pandemic affected your business and your revenues? Shyam, I see you on the screen. I'm going to get started with you.
Okay. Just to be very quick, as you rightly said, was coronavirus an oscillator or decelerator or an accelerator? So if that be the case, Kalidas had started off by saying it is an accelerator, and I would say, I would add on to it for the media world. When I say media world, it's the world of media, including entertainment. It's an accelerator, primarily because of the lockdown and the fear factor. People were glued to the news in the beginning. So our news TRP ratings, or whatever we call it, was skyrocketing, and people were glued to know what exactly is happening around. So that was one of the reasons of the peak in viewership. But what happened at the same time is, because of the pandemic, there were no productions happening. So serials were stopped, and people were forced to view the old Ramayans and Mahabharats of the old this thing genre, and people enjoyed it. Once it was forced entertainment, but very surprising to know that the ratings of Ramayan were also skyrocketing equally. So it was a forced entertainment. But then came the inflow of your Netflix and Amazon Prime. People started anytime viewing in any platform. That's the technical advantage. At any given point of time, 4 of us in a house are viewing 4 devices and 4 different platforms. That's the exponential growth that we all saw after pandemic. Coming to the revenue part of it quickly, yes, it has skyrocketed, though the initial prediction was 78,000 crore according to FICCI report EY, FICCI and EY report. But then initially there was sluggishness because there was no IPL, there was no IPL. All this were taking a beating. But then there was advertising revenue to an extent which was manageable. We're not able to.
I was on mute. Yeah. Shyam believes that Corona was an accelerator. I can see that smile on his face. Taking that question to you, Vijayasarathy, you've been in the hygiene space. How has the lockdown affected your business?
See, it's a bit of both, I would say. Like most things in life, there are 2 sides to the coin. At first, our business depends on people moving. People wear clothes when they move around. And so initially, it was a wipeout for the first 45 days. But it gave us time in terms of introspecting business models and how we need to change. As the previous speakers also said, there's a lot of change in consumer behavior. How hygiene has become an important factor, how do you need to build it into your operation, and so on. So it gave us time to think through it. And once we are coming back, the positive side has come up where people respect the fact that the value which we add through the hygiene input across our process, and people are more receptive to looking at change and adopting us as a service provider rather than the regular service. So I see both sides. So initially it was a jolt, but it gave us time to think through and come back. And I think that way things are shaped up better.
Thank you for sharing that, Vijayasarathy. I hope things only improve for you. Dr. Avinash?
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. So as far as our business is concerned, we are basically a genomic-based services provider and technology development. So initially in the month of April, being a chronic diseases solution provider, there were not much patients, especially cancer or even other chronic diseases patient visiting to the hospital, as everything was locked and the regular monitoring of the patients, everything were almost negligible. So those time we got to time for our new product developments, and we could focus more upon the new few more products which we are onto various stages of R&D, and we were able to focus more on those, and our R&D could accelerate during the coronavirus period. So even we have our another, that is our R&D unit inside the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology in Hyderabad. So we have our R&D unit in Hyderabad. So the R&D unit was in the full plate. We were also able to develop a point of care device for coronavirus testing also. And So those things were like moving in a faster pace. And after sometime around July, we got slowly the regular services started to come to the normal. Now it is like more than what we had last December. This December, we expect the revenue to be even more than what we had last year.
Great. Great. I think Christmas has come to you very early. I can see that smile again. Good to know, Dr. Avinash. I think it was important for people to pause, think, and recalibrate their strategy. Jayshree, you're in the logistics space, which has been bustling with a lot of activity. How have things been your end?
Yeah. Yes, Corona has been a real eye-opener for us to explore a lot of opportunities. Right? Initially, when it happened, because we are with these students. I mean, our basic thing is like we educate students. So in the March, the batch was running, and they were supposed to the classes were supposed to get over in April. So March 23rd, 24th, I think that is when the COVID lockdown started. So we were having direct classes. So everything was a shocker for all of us. It took 10, 15 days time for us to realize what's happening around and things. And logistics being the essential service, throughout the Corona times, all our industry folks were working. I mean, it was like an essential service, because without any country's backbone is definitely the logistics and the supply chain, because the domestic produce, FMCG, everything needs logistics. So throughout the Corona times, people were working in the industry, of course, work from home or partial, all these things. For us being from the education sector, like, for the first 10, 15 days, it was a shocker. Then we started thinking about alternates, right? What is that we need to do? So this was a great opportunity for us to explore the digital platform. And we quickly did a lot of homework ourselves. We had to learn ourselves what is the next option we have to have. And we started our online batches from May. And we were able to complete those batches, and all the guys are on the roll now. They are all employed now. And we also had a great opportunity to explore learning management system. So we had a lot of learnings. We had discussions every day. It was like how to now have a direct, we never know how things are going to shape up. So we invested a lot of time. So we have launched our LMS during the COVID times. In September, we launched our code, because this period gave us a lot of time to prepare our strategies, revisit our strategies, think about what alternate we can offer. And for ourselves, it was a lot of learning, because I had to learn everything from the LMS purview and the digital marketing. And believe me, this because our students, basically we were concentrating on Tamil Nadu, because we are in Chennai. And during this COVID, we have now students from Jharkhand, Mumbai, Nasik, and because there are no limits, there are no barriers, because online education can happen from anywhere. So this has actually opened up opportunities for us. And definitely it looks, because all the industries are booming up, especially life science, FMCG is already there, automotive is looking up. Your cold storage, because vaccine logistics is going to be a huge industry now. Huge opportunity. And domestic transportation is very huge. So when the employment goes up, because 31 million is what is expected in 2022. So which means we need a lot of skilled resources, which means a lot of opportunities for our students, for us. So that is the story what we had during this time.
Sure. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention.
Mother of all inventions. Yeah, absolutely.
To get the ball rolling. Dr. Srimathy, you're in the education space as well. Of late, we've been hearing stories about aliens as well. But how have things been in the last 6-7 months?
Yes, I know. There was a news that Trump knows there are aliens existing, right? So that created a big hype all over the social media the last 2 days. Well, space industry, surprisingly, of course, I'm not talking about in India per se. I'm talking about the world per se. SpaceX is launched at least about 13 launches it had, and it had the first private astronauts going up space, Bob and Doug. And that was an eye-opener for everybody. I mean, astronauts or cosmonauts initially were from the governmental side. They had, trainings only in the governmental missions. But today, he's paved way for a private mission. I mean, that's amazing. And China landed on the moon, and Japan had a mission. So everybody had their missions, and finally India, yes, of course, made the biggest news that honorable prime minister had opened up the space agency for private players. That's a big move for a country like ours. And it's amazing that even a small startup can go and work in ISRO. All the equipments and everything can be used by the startups, because space industry is very, very huge, and every little thing is very expensive. So not everybody can afford to buy and store or have a lab for themselves. So opening up of private players and opening up ISRO is a big game changer, and almost about 50 startups have cropped up. And we're going to be having very soon two of the private players going to be launching rockets. So that's a big move. And we Space Kids, we are going to be launching our yet another satellite in the month of February. And for us, two verticals. One, research, there is no problem, because wherever we are, our students continue the research. The other vertical is the teaching vertical. So the teaching vertical, we were doing more practical. Hands-on was our forte. So now everything had to be moved on to online. I'm sorry to say, but I slightly differentiate here. I like more human interactions, personal human interactions, and I don't want children to sit in front of this idiot box, I'm sorry to say, all through and learn everything, through online. So I just pray that, there is some tunnel. I mean, there is a light in the tunnel, and very soon we'll get back to our old normal. This new normal is okay, but to an extent, not very happy, because human interactions, we Indians are more used to human interactions, and students need that. Going to school, going and being with peers, that's more important, because that shapes their personality. So I really look forward for a change to the back.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that perspective. In fact, we'll talk about it in a lot more detail in the questions that are coming up. I think we can't call it the new normal anymore. It's become so normal that it's not new anymore, right?
So true, so true.
Right. So if you think the second half of this financial year, you will see your revenues increase, I want all the panelists to raise your hand. If you think second half, your revenues are going to increase, raise your hands. All the panelists. Vijayasarathy, where are you? No. Okay. Dr. Srimathy, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, you're with yes. I'm going to go across to Vijayasarathy to start with. So with the unlock happening, people moving. In fact, in Bangalore, people don't even think Corona exists if you go by the traffic. Don't you think there's going to be a big spike in laundry services as well?
See, a couple of things. One, one of our revenues is about dry cleaning, which is a big part of the revenue. Only when functions and parties become normal, people start using this service much higher. A lot of 30% of my revenue comes from that service. The other part is the laundry cycle of any home is largely dependent on how the school uniforms are going to get processed. So if your schools and colleges are not closed, it becomes irregular, and that is going to affect our business cycle as well. So I'm at about 70-80% now, but I don't see that opening up much till we have schools and colleges and functions becoming normal. That's a key part of my business.
I can understand. You never know. 2020 is about to get over in about 21 days, and hopefully 2021 we'll have the vaccine and things go back to normal. Shyam, advertisement revenue has peaked. Do you see a trend coming in? You're on mute, Shyam. If you could unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. I would say that 2020 is a bookmark of a year for all of us, and all our life is going to be pre-COVID and post-COVID scenario. So, post-COVID scenario, yes. When I say yes, we are going to make revenue. It will not be the same way how we functioned earlier. The whether you call it new normal or it's normal or that's the normal, whatever it is, the fact of the matter is the jargons have changed. We have started speaking some new language. We have started talking about social distancing. We're talking about sanitizing. We're talking about all this. So entire when the lifestyle has changed, even the revenue monetization is going to be a new normal, or that's going to be the normal way of doing it. So the old way of looking, I would just like to be short and say there are three challenges in front of us with regard to making revenue or being successful. One is communication, two is on connection, three is creation. These are the three things which we will be talking about. Communicate. We wouldn't have never ever thought of such video conferencing happening. Zooming in Zoom has happened. Now, every day we have such virtual meets happening. So it's digital communication is the new normal. And therefore, we have to look at monetizing. And my good friend Kalidas is from Tata Group is supporting such initiatives. And he was talking about the bandwidth increase. So how do we increase there? Where is the money going to come from? Is where we have to look for. Instead of who moved the cheese from the earlier point, we cannot be looking at it. Similarly, connection. Srimathy was very correct because all said and done, even in a relationship, however close you are, you can't be talking over Skype your life through. There's a human touch involved, and so absolutely, how do we reinvent ourselves is going to be the challenge. If we have to make revenue, we have to reinvent ourselves in connections also, and finally the creation. The creativity part of it is going to be absolute. People have when you look at people with mask, there's a new word come into the world, sneezing. So with only my eye, with only their eyes, I have to know whether they are smiling or they are laughing inside, everything. So how do I create things? Because I have only 4 minutes to for a 4 seconds for a skip ad option, and immediately my hand goes. So I love to communicate at that pace. I love to be creative at that place. I have to connect at that place. So only if I do all this, I will be able to make revenue. But there is a scope. We have to reinvent.
Sure, communication and connection. Very, very interesting points there. That brings me to another question, which is the question of work from home. Okay, raise your left hand if you think work from home is here to stay. Raise your right hand if you think we'll go back to office once the vaccine is out, and give me a namaste if you think it's a hybrid model. Left hand work from home, right hand back to office. Namaste if you think it's a hybrid model. Okay. Avinash, work from home. Okay. No, you're going back to office. Dr. Srimathy, where do you stand on this?
Hybrid model.
Hybrid model. Okay. Let me in fact cut across probably to Jayshree to start with. So how have you collaborated with your team? Do you think work from home or a hybrid model? How is it all going to pan out?
Yeah. So the best thing happened is we started a direct batches. I mean, like the classes are happening. So that was the happiest moment. November 23rd, we started our direct batches. But now during the COVID lockdown, we also found that online the methodology of working, collaborating through online and doing things is working perfectly fine. But as Dr. Srimathy said, and it's more of coming to the office, seeing people smile, interacting with them, exchanging ideas. All these things matter a lot because from the logistics and supply chain industry, we are people industry. Like, we work with people. A lot of things happen only over a conversation, all these things. So with the online platform which we have launched, because we have people across India who are joining. So there is a possibility of our faculty doing the online sessions as well and the classroom sessions as well. So for people who are comfortable doing the online faculty training, there is a possibility, there is an opportunity for them. And of course, people like me, I would love to stand in front of the students and teach them. That is my way of, because online teaching, you never get that feel of, however you try to give that enthusiasm, it doesn't happen, because we do a lot of role plays, interactive sessions. So both are here to stay. And it depends on the comfort factor of the people and the faculty. If you see, a lot of students, parents do not want their students to come to Chennai because of Corona, because a lot of people went back to their hometowns. They feel it is not safe to come back to Chennai unless and until the vaccine is coming up. So for them, they cannot waste their time, because time is the essence, right? So in the 3 months, a lot of people students have studied with us. And you will not believe the first COVID batch, online batch, what we had, they are already on the roll. They are working for larger organizations now. So they have made the best use of their time in the 3 months. And then now they are becoming a logistics professional. So both the students and the faculties, what we would say is, if you want to take an online, yes. But yes, of course, the classroom, you will definitely miss it. But if you want to come and study here, both options are there, and it's up to people how they would want to take it. As far as the office is concerned, we are all started coming to the office with the safety precautions, because this is where the entire enthusiasm and the fun and everything is there. So both are here to stay, and maybe once the vaccine is out, people would get back to their normal, is what I feel. It would take some more time to show.
Sure. So it's a hybrid model. Dr. Avinash, I believe you're a strong proponent of working from office. What are your views on that?
As far as healthcare sector is concerned, in fact, the number of people who are forced to work even during the Corona time is the only sector is the healthcare sector. So there is no scope in the healthcare sector for work from home. So all the, irrespective of lockdown or whatever be the scenario, all of us were working from the office only. So there were we were doing R&D during the lockdown time as our the regular cancer follow-up or the other chronic disease patients who come for the follow-up. Those revenues were in a shortfall, but definitely it gave us the scope for more R&D and human-to-human interaction, as Dr. Kesan said. So that human-to-human interaction is essential in all kind of healthcare services. So also being in the laboratory side, you can't do anything without the human touch. So we take all the necessary precautions. We have all the precautions in place, and that's how we work as usual, as normal. There was no kind of change or anything apart from, say, social distancing, wearing mask, and having the PPE kits.
Sure. As you rightly mentioned, healthcare is a very personalized service. Yeah. So we need people, man on the floor, people on the floor actually working with the patients very closely. Yeah. Dr. Srimathy, you brought this up earlier. Of course, education is, again, a highly personalized space. You need to see students need to see you. But with respect to your team, with respect to all the people that your colleagues that you work with, is it possible to pull all of this working from home?
It's very difficult, because what we do is, probably designing of satellite can be done individually in their homes. But collectively, it is the kind of arguments that we come up with. And because every individual has a particular design in mind and vouch for their designs. So, it is very difficult to sit at home and do these interactions. Well, of course, when you're forced, you just do that for some time. But we also started working from the month of June. We got back to work, and we maintained our social distancing and other things. And because we have a launch in February, we cannot afford to sit at home. And allied industries like the 3D printing industry and everything, they started supporting. They were also initially sitting at home. But then when they saw this opportunity, now they started coming over, and the PCB manufacturing and the structure manufacturers, electronic kits. Everybody started working and supporting us. I think we forgot. I mean, Shyam, I think we should say AD and BC is forgotten now. It's only AC and BC after Corona and before Corona. So now it is, I think it's almost like after Corona, because you get to go down on the streets. You don't see anybody really bothered about this. I think at least in Chennai. I mean, you mentioned, of course, in Bangalore. So industries have really opened up and work has really started. Parallelly, I would like to say students per se, I mean, parents are extremely annoyed having, sorry to use this term, but parents are really annoyed having their kids 24/7. So some way or the other, they want them to get occupied apart from school. So we tried coming online with some courses, because our courses are predominantly hands-on. But parents have started pushing us so hard that they, literally said, whatever you want, you teach, but you teach. That was so sad. We were like feeling, oh my God, children need to sit in front of this box apart from school also with us. So we had a good amount of revenue from online classes. It was really surprising that, we could churn out some revenue for this whole period. That saying, we run an NGO. We run an NGO for science awareness and also the other activities, allied activities. I was actively involved in, supporting cooking food for almost about 1,200 people every day. So what happened there also, again, though they were migrant workers and though they were other laborers and all that, they didn't have work. And what they wanted more than food was somebody to come and talk, somebody to come and spend some time with them. So that was very, very, surprising that, Didi, aap aa jao, please, roz aa jao, ek 10 minute hamare saath baat karke jao. This is what they were telling. So it is very surprising. So the human touch, I want to reiterate the same thing. We Indians believe in that human touch, and whatever you say this online thingy is, still we need to meet people, talk to people.
Right, that's our fundamental core. I think we are all human beings who who yearn for interaction.
In fact, purple ironing, I'm sorry, Mr. Kalidas, I wanted to tell him, our iron dabba is doing fantastic. Our street ka iron dabba wala is doing fantastic, because we have a Kalyana Mandapam across the road, and you get to see so many weddings happening in COVID. And though you have restrictions of only 50 people, I think 100, 150 people turn up. So he is having a great time.
Sure, I'm going to bring, we have Mr. Vijayasarathy, who is from Purple Lining.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vijayasarathy. Yes, please forgive me.
Yeah. So, Mr. Vijayasarathy, you spoke about a hybrid model again. Of course, you have your retail arm, you have logistics, backend, your core, service. What part of it can actually work from home, that you've seen it actually works better from home, and what part of it can't be avoided?
See, except for the customer service part, which involves phone only, everything else is end of the line in terms of last month. I need to meet customers at home, pick up their garments, and stores are open, so their customers walk in. So all of it is last mile for me, except for the customer service part, which you can even probably automate in today's scenario. That's where when people talk about the human touch, technology itself needs to be seen, in my opinion, in two ways. One, technology which actually replaces human beings, and technology which increases productivity of human beings. So a country like India, where everybody is talking about human touch, technology should be more focused on increasing productivity of human being, which is what will increase overall productivity of the country, because there's so many of us. There's no point replacing human beings, which is impossible in India actually. So you should actually work on technologies which are increasing productivity of human beings, which is what will have the larger impact in terms of GDP and so on. So that way you need to see technology two ways.
Interesting perspective there, where technology is more of an enabler, which is helping you to improve productivity.
Anmol, Anmol, here, adding to Mr. Vijayasarathy, he rightly mentioned it needs to be an enabler. But unfortunately, the youngsters, the youth of the country today, they have, I think landed up in a misconception that technology should substitute mankind. Why have 10 people in the office? You look at the startups, they kind of question, why have 10 people in an office? Why not just have 2 people and, have a machinery which can substitute this? And place a country like India, I think it's very, very difficult. We shouldn't be thinking of that way. So that's the reason technology sometimes is a boon and a bane.
Fair enough. Fair enough. In fact, I'm going to take that to Shyam. Shyam, Vijayasarathy was talking about technology being an enabler to improve productivity. So somewhere do you think work from home is helping you improve productivity? You don't have to spend 2-3 hours in traffic, at least here in Bangalore. I'm sure Chennai also has its own share of traffic issues, but somewhere the productivity is going up. What's your take on that? If you could unmute yourself. Yeah.
So actually, picking up from your earlier question where I was one person who did Namaste for hybrid working, because of there was a study of Future Forum research where people said 12% of the research said they want to return to full time, whereas 72% wanted hybrid because of various reasons. One was the fear factor, and then convenience factor. I don't know. I started with the 3 C's. Now I'm picking up on C's again. Why people are looking at hybrid from a company perspective? Though I agree with what Dr. Srimathy said or Mr. Vijayasarathy said, yes, there is going to be human touch, which is very essential for everything. But post-COVID, people are talking about cost-effective work. So that's the next C which I'm talking about. When we are looking at the wholesome view of everything, cost-effective approach is one of the learnings that we are taking from COVID, post-COVID, BC. If I may take what Srimathy said, BC, cost-effective way of individual's lifestyle, at the same time, a corporate lifestyle. Because even we, if we want to spend 1 penny, we think twice about it before spending. Similarly, a company is thinking many a times. Many organizations have shut shop and have encouraged people from to work from home. Big organizations, big brands for that matter, have cleaned up their office and they are renting it out now. So that's going to be a new way of looking at things, cost effective. That leads us to convenience operation. Now, you talked about how convenient for a media person, if my reporter is going across and he is going to, for me, I need news. And my mobile is now getting me news. There are so many ways of reaching us through the technology part of it. And therefore, convenience from anywhere and at any point of time, if they're able to feed us and give us the KRA, then we are more than happy because it is cost effective. And finally, we should have that confidence. Confidence that the team is working. See, the convenience part of it, if a guest lecturer or if such GD had to be hosted, all of us have to pull in, come in, and it would have been a Herculean task for the team talk to organize this. But it's so easy now that yes, I've told that I'll be there at 11 o'clock and 12:15 I've posted my next meeting and I can move off. So it's the convenience, it's the cost effectiveness, and it's the confidence that we are going to have on the team that's going to take us to the when we talk about this hybrid way of working.
But the impact, Shyam, I think the same impact wouldn't be there when you deliver a keynote address personally on a dais.
Absolutely.
And delivering here, you don't even know who is listening to you and who is not listening to you. So you kind of shrug away. And whatever you wanted to kind of deliver, you kind of shrink. You say, oh, probably people are bored, so let me stop with this. So that's the difference. That's the little difference, I think, I'm
Very true,
harping
very true.
on.
That's the challenge with which we are all going to live, because see, sitting here listening to Jayshree speaking or listening to you speaking, I was also checking up my mobile whether there was, this is honest confession, whether there was some
I
of
could
the
see that.
this thing. Suddenly I have to get out of the video and give one instruction to my team, which I cannot do it. I will not do it. I will have my focus fully if I'm a keynote speaker, or if I'm in a GD on a stage. But that I would also say that's the convenience. I'm also addressing and I'm also doing my own work, hybrid. That's the way I'm looking at. But that's not fair. That's not fair. That's the honest confession, because Jayashree will add on to this, because in online classes we know what hangama is happening there. So it's all passport size photograph, boss. That's all.
Right.
So you all want to you all want to look good, but then is it coming from the heart? We do not know how many people will really say, I'm not well like Srimathy, and say sneezing. Even I don't want to come on screen to say, okay, I'm looking bad.
Shyam, very honest, Shyam, today, seriously.
Adding to Mr. Shyam's thing, we realized this because when the first online batch happened, everybody had the bandwidth issue, and they said they cannot come on video. We said, okay, fine. Only the faculty would be on the video and we will be doing. And once in a while, we'll ask them to come on the video to check what they are doing. And we learned it from that. And the second session, we said, must, video is a must, because I want to see you, how you are. The facial expressions will tell me whether you understood the concept or you did not understand the concept. So we said video is the must, because you cannot go off the video unless and until it's a very, very poor bandwidth. So yes, I mean, it's a huge crisis. I mean, you just cannot see people understand. And at times when it happened, one of the girls, without knowing, I mean, she is actually lying down like this and she is looking, I mean, so such a casual thing. I said, no, you have to sit straight, listen, because it's a serious lesson which we are teaching you. So yes.
I'm sorry, Anmol, I just want to add on one. There was no curtain raiser for coronavirus. The people didn't know what exactly was happening before. Doctor will add on to this, because earlier when this pandemic broke out, people didn't know actually what was happening. They were running helter-skelter, and we in media where we had to give the visuals, and we saw what actually happened. But then the silver lining is, or the light at the end of the tunnel is, the rural population have got connected. Rural population who are down in village are now, because of this issue, are now connected and now are online, and we are able to get a lot of input from the rural population. Technology is moved from urban to rural in this pandemic. That's all.
I want to add on to, I just want to add on one more thing. In case of healthcare technologies, as far as this, because of Corona, the technology has helped us in a lot to connect to the people. That is, we used to have the most of our clients within the southern region, that is Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, or Kerala, and that is the southern state. Now we have able to expand to the other parts of the country, and also the patients who were earlier used to come to, that is the patient with the chronic diseases who used to come all the way to, say, Chennai or Bangalore for seeking their medical treatment. Now they are all like sending us the samples right from their home, and we are able to evolve as a much more in a matured way to have a like logistic partnership for sending us that is the samples and other things required from the rest of the country to our centralized lab in case, and also we are able to do online consultations to our people even after the pandemic. I'm telling in the post-pandemic also, we are able to do these things. We are able to do.
Right. In fact, that was going to be my next question. How you have leveraged on technology, to ensure business continuity, to make sure that business is happening as it was earlier. Thank you for sharing that, Dr. Avinash. I'm sure these are some practices which you will do, once we come out of the pandemic as well. Mr. Vijayasarathy, how have you leveraged technology? At least in the auto industry, we saw people were buying cars at the click of a button, something we never thought will happen so early. How did you leverage technology, or did you do something which you never thought that you will do in 2020 with respect to technology?
We had the most important part of this pandemic was understanding what your customer is thinking. It's very difficult in a pandemic situation to understand what kind of concerns are going through a customer who's trying to get his clothes laundered. So these are all technologies that are already available off the shelf. So we started interacting with the customer in terms of surveys and questionnaires in terms of what they're thinking, in terms of how they accessing the services right now in a pandemic situation. So that helped us a lot. Another thing was in terms of interacting with the employees. See, all these people are dependent on this income as their livelihood. People who iron their clothes, their revenue. If there's no customer walking into the store, their livelihood is lost. So in such a scenario, there's a lot of stress involved. We have employees take to about 90-95 people. All of them are on the brink of the social spectrum. So there were a lot of people who came new into WhatsApp and to open up the conversation across the organization, so people are able to interact and understand how others are coping up with them. So there are a couple of things which I am immediately able to tell you how we leverage technology to make our workspace better.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. Jayshree, how did you leverage technology? You said that, yes, of course, the classes were happening online. Other than that, did you do anything, which you thought was not possible, but yes, it kind of broke barriers?
Yeah. So we always had this, it was there in our thing that we have to go digital, in terms of our learning, because we just don't do skilling. We also do upskilling and reskilling for the logistics professionals who are already there in the industry. Because I may be working in domestic, I would want to learn international logistics. So there will be a lot of people in the industry who would want to do it. So we were always thinking that was a project which was there in the wish list. And it never happened because we were so much concentrating on the direct classes. So during this, we invested a lot of time in bringing in technology, leveraging the technology. So LMS was launched, as I told you, in September. So we are working with that, and we are introducing a lot of programs for entrepreneurs, agropreneurs. A lot of things are there because of this technology leveraging. It all happened. And one more thing which I would the cost aspect, which I would want to touch for the students' perspective. So technology has helped. If you look at our students' 20% are from Chennai and the rest are from down south and other places from the middle income category. They are not the well-to-do, because ours is a very niche program and economically viable for the thing, and which gives them internship and employment. So when they have to actually come here and study, they have to invest in the accommodation, food, and all those stuff, which is a 6-month program. And for them, that will definitely cost them more. So the students are really benefited because of this technology, because they say, I can study online, and once the internship comes, I'm ready to travel, because you most of the time you get paid internships as well. So it is helping the students. From the technology has really helped the students to cut their costs, and they can invest to get this certification program, because our certificate is valid in 8 countries. So it is a very valuable course for them. So in that way also it has helped students. So it is both for us and for the student community. It is definitely a boon.
Sure.
Yeah.
So technology, as Shyam was saying, technology has enabled, cost savings. There is convenience as well. And of course, you need to have the confidence that you can make it successful. So Shyam, in the media space, how has technology evolved in the last 6-7 months?
Well, I would, from C's, I want to go into E's. I would say technology has engaged, first thing is there are a lot of engagement. Whether at home, people are engaged, glued with entertainment or news. There is the time spent in your mobile is much, much higher now, or in your media, the social, whether you call it social media, or you call it a linear broadcast media, whatever it is engaged. The technology has helped people get engaged in it. Number two is technology has empowered people. So there's a lot of empowering which has happened, especially Dr. Avinashi was talking about health sector. In this pandemic, it has empowered everyone, especially people who are who are scared, rural population, cutting across geographical boundaries. People were able to get in touch with the helpline sectors or health sector. So, including media, it is empowered, and finally, it had helped us to evaluate our own lives, be it personal life or be it a collective corporate life, because what is the culture itself? There is a lot of question mark on evaluation. I was so happy to know that we initially we clapped hands, we then showed torchlights, and then we started putting flowers at these people. But then after 4 months, 5 months, we started evaluating what's happening around us, be it our own personal life, family life, be it the corporate life. This technology has helped us in evaluating at that. So that's the empowering and evaluating and engaging is what technology has taught us all during this time.
I love the acronyms. I love the acronyms you come up with. How do you do that?
I'm not come up prepared. I can show you. I'm picking up notes from all your speakers and then just summing it up. That's me.
Thank you for sharing that. Switching gears, I'll start with Dr. Srimathy. What is that one strategy that's worked for you during the lockdown that you would want to advise to an entrepreneur, business owner, or an SME? One strategy that's worked for you that you want to, advise to someone listening to this?
Well, one strategy I think, is going to be very limiting, Anmol. But what I would say is, preconceived notions. Shred your preconceived notions and keep moving forward. I think, accept things as it comes. And we kind of, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There is something there available. Just pick it up and move on. So that's what we've done. We thought we were not able to do online stuff and, bringing a astronaut, interacting with an astronaut was a big thing. You needed at least $15,000 to bring an astronaut to India. Now you didn't even have to pay. You were able to write to him and he was so happy interacting with the students. So, everything will happen, and this is a changing phase, and change is good. So accept that, move on, don't give up.
Sure. That's a very interesting example of how even if every problem has a silver lining, there is an opportunity, even if we don't see it in the right way right now. As they said, the dots will always connect. Dr. Avinash, one thing that you would advise business owners?
What I would advise, I will have to add on to Dr. Srimathy, that whatever comes on our way, just accept it and move on. And as far as healthcare is concerned, we are one of the least affected sectors compared to many other sectors. So also being a technology development company, we were able to leverage on developing new technologies in the healthcare segment, especially during this coronavirus period. As I said, our R&D got boosted during this period. So soon we will be able to bring out many more products or being lined up, which were to be launched in 2022 or so. We would be able to bring it next year, early next year itself. So these are some of the things, and the basic advice to everyone is that just look at the opportunities that comes on your way. If we go searching for different new opportunities, it will definitely, that is, whatever be the difficulties, search for the opportunities even among the difficulties. Some of the other things will definitely come onto your way and definitely will help all the entrepreneurs, whoever are here, for them, the basic thing, and whatever comes your way, just accept it as it is. Acceptance is the key for any, be it technology development, be it business development, or be it our own personal life. Everything is based on acceptance.
Right. I like how you ended on that note. Accept it. The pandemic has humbled all of us. So it's better we accept it. Keep our eyes open for newer opportunities. Brilliant. Shyam, one key strategy?
This pandemic, like Dr. Avinashi said, every crisis is an opportunity, and an opportunity to create a community for humanity. So I would just like to say that trust is story doing rather than storytelling. This pandemic, everyone talks about trust, and that's going to be the key word. Trust is story doing than storytelling.
Sure. Trust is story doing than storytelling. Took me some time to digest that, but that's the true essence of it. Thank you.
It all starts with you. You take the you out of the trust, and trust falls.
Right. And then that's the bedrock of any relationship. Thank you for sharing that, Shyam. Vijayasarathy?
I think what we have learned, both as a company as at personal level, is it pays to keep your needs simple. Both in personal life as well in business. As an entrepreneur, running a business like a juggernaut, so you keep running all the time. A lot of things get added on to what your basic core was. If you keep your focus only on the core and try to remain focused on that, life becomes easier. I think it's the same in personal life as well. So very few things you actually need to run a normal, happy life. So if you're able to focus on that and not worry about the other part, you'll be in a safe place.
Cut the flap and focus on the core. Thank you for sharing that. Jayshree?
Yeah, the strategy is keeping costs minimal, very important. Change is constant, and we need to adapt and evolve, right? Look for opportunities, and being tech savvy is very, very important. Being in line with the technology demands, because this is going to be key. And logistics and supply chain, technology is the key for our industry, and that is what we teach our students as well. So being tech savvy is very, very important. As business owners, we need to know what are the things which are coming up, and we need to learn and evolve. And learning is a continuous process. We have to keep learning and gaining more knowledge and evolve. And keeping core business, I mean, we never dilute. I mean, the core business, we have to stay focused with that. So that is the strategy. So.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. If you don't jump on the technology bandwagon, you may miss the bus. So it's high time that you actually ride the wave and be part of it. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go across to Mr. Kalidas KS. If you can tell us how Tata Tele Business Services can help entrepreneurs, business owners, and SMEs. Mr. Kalidas, you're on mute.
What we are seeing in the market today, if in each and enterprise to be successful and very competitive, grow faster, but two key things is that one is that quality and cost. The two key, because we are seeing that threat already coming from the globe today. With China, how they are moved up, how the economy is moving up, how the price they are bringing down. This is a very clear threat for all our enterprises, what we see. But we see an opportunity there to really get up. That's where, as a country, as an enterprise, we have to really get our quality story right and cost story right. This is the only two way we can really get our business growing economy back. So we believe that for that, adapting to technology, which is available, which is going to come, we have to start going around and seeing in our business planning to adopt. That is a very, very key for our business success, for and growth, and getting globally competitive to get the growth for the country. That's where we believe this where, and Tata Tele is very, very clearly committed to get the technology to in India wherever it's available globally, and try to provide in a cost-effective manner to enterprise. That's Tata Tele. That's the Tata Group's commitment to the industry today. That's where we are working towards that to find out. We have two entities today works in telecom and technology today. We have Tata Tele for domestic, and we have Tata Communication, which is a global company. So what we do right now is that go across the market. We have presence across the globe. We go and see across the market what are the technology getting developed and getting used and getting a lot of investment happening. We go around and get that technology back to India. That's what we try to do today and provide to the enterprise in a very, very cost. That's our commitment to the enterprise for the economy to get the growth. This is what we try to do. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Kalidas. Before we wrap this up, you're all business leaders in your own industry. We would love to know what you read, what do you watch to keep yourself updated about business, and who is your influencer? Common question to everyone. What do you read, watch to keep yourself updated on business, and who is your influencer? Maybe I'll get started with Dr. Srimathy.
Okay, so I come from the space industry, so completely I go with space news. So we've got for the Indian space news we've got a complete group called New Space India, so which comes up with all the latest news and everything. And similarly with the global news, we have the Google, which is pouring out with information. So I'm happy with that. And with regards to, sorry, what was the second one that you had asked?
Who is your influencer who you follow very closely?
Okay, of course, Elon Musk.
Has to be Elon Musk,
yes.
The kind of pioneering work.
I mean, the kind of, out of the box thinking that he does. Who will send a Tesla to space? I mean, oh, wow. I mean, he's just broken all the barriers, and he's done something so very different and proven to the world that don't keep looking into the books and follow every page. Just jump the pages and you will find a new technique and a new thing, new technology, and everything new around you. So I think he's the greatest influencer for space.
I'm going to second you on that. I think Elon Musk has made rocket science not actually rocket science. It's not
Absolutely.
rocket science.
Right.
He's gone about things. Thank you for sharing that. Jayshree?
Yeah, I follow a lot of, I didn't have a television from April. I'm not watching television at all. And I'm only reading things. So I do a lot of reading from the LinkedIn because I'm very passionate about LinkedIn, because a lot of things I follow DHL because they are the global leaders in terms of logistics and supply chain. And I was very much interested in digital marketing during this time because I really wanted to promote the business. So I've been learning a lot from Neil Patel. I mean, if you know him, is the Insta influencer. So I follow with him, and I just try to learn from him. So as far as influencers are concerned, there is no specific. I read a lot of things from the logistics and supply chain, and LinkedIn is where I spend most of the time.
Sure. LinkedIn is a great place to be. And I personally follow Neil Patel as well. Great hacks on digital marketing.
Sharing. Yeah, great. Yeah.
Right. Dr. Avinash?
Yeah. There's a book called Bold by Stephen Kotler. So, and I bought that book and read the whole book. It's a kind of something similar onto the entrepreneurship. It will be useful for all the entrepreneurs out there. And I have been reading quite a couple of more books. And apart from that, I also spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. And there is also some life sciences magazines such as Clinical-omics and some other research article, that is research-based magazines which are specific to the genomics. There is something called Precision Medicine, And there are several other magazines which have now, which gives about you what all the technologies being developed and what all the happenings across the world. Those things keep me updated on those, that is the happenings. And also to keep me up to the mark where the healthcare, and I should be able to tell you proudly that we are only company which we have developed a particular technology which we cannot reveal right now. In the whole of Asia, Europe, and Africa, only the American company is our competitor. There is no other company which we have developed on particular technology available only with our competitor in United States, and the rest of the world, no one has anywhere in the world which has been verified by our by our whole R&D team.
So congratulations on that.
And
We
that's
hope
the
we
kind of
will.
a national, and that's the kind of a project of national importance which we are closely working with the government of India also.
Great. Congratulations again. I hope we will hear the big news from you very soon.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Vijayasarathy?
I'm not as much of a reader, so I watch a lot of content on YouTube. I'm very interested in historical research and try to read those stuff. As well as the fact that how do people make decisions? So that's something I research a lot. I'm tuned to people like Shyam and I'm very fond of APJ Abdul Kalam, the speeches that they have made. I watch a lot of that on YouTube, try to understand what perspective they have and try to incorporate at least some percentage of those good things which I find. So not as much as a reader, but a lot of video content I watch.
Great. I think even if we become 10% of what they are, we'll go a long way. Shyam? Shyam, you'll have to unmute yourself, please. Yeah.
Coming from the media world, I have to be open with the ears. Our eyes and ears are open to all news. So I take input from across the globe. So I cannot be restricting myself with any particular this thing. A personal point of it, yes. The recent influencer is a book called Good to Great from Jim Collins. That's the one, especially accepting the crude facts is what has been influencing me for quite some time. And day-to-day influencing, my viewers are my influencing factor. We give what they are in need of rather than what we want to communicate to them. So that's the influencing factor for me.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that, Shyam. Kalidas? You're on mute, sir.
So my great influencer and info system is Google, because wherever I subscribe to get the Google pop-up. So when you open your Google, you get all the info coming. Whenever you get time, just go through that to get as recent as 5 minutes back update your this thing. So I am great follower of Google. And my interest in national politics or this thing, I really go through the Mint, the print, which is by Shekhar Gupta. I really fan of Shekhar Gupta. This thing I really spend time to, whenever I get time, these are two shows I really go through to get updates on the current technology plus current politics. These are two shows for me too. If I go through that, it gets really rejuvenated, gets updated. That's what I see out of that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Kalidas. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, this is a wrap. A big round of applause to each one of you for taking time out, joining us and sharing your insights. Can we hear it for... Come on, guys. Let's clap and hear it for... Yep. Very insightful discussion. I'm sure all the viewers will benefit tremendously watching this. Nice to have Dr. Srimathy on video, as she promised that she will come on the camera. I would love to meet all of you offline. As we discussed, there is nothing like an offline meet, having a chai and then discussing. Hopefully this should happen next year on behalf of the Talk and Tata Tele Business Services, I thank you for your time. Keep smiling, take care, and I'm sure your business is going to only grow every single day.